Hi, so it is Tuesday evening, and I've been trying to get on live here for a while. Facebook has been a little crazy today. I don't know what it's been like for you. Um, but I just wanted to come on and talk to everybody because I know that the holiday season is coming, and with the holidays comes spending lots of time with family and friends. And I think we all know that when you are thinking of homeschooling or you are homeschooling and you're with a group of people, there are many questions that come up. So I thought that I would just go over how to deal with some of the questions because we know that they're going to come, but you shouldn't be afraid and you shouldn't hide under the table worrying that people are going to ask you about your homeschooling because trust me, you're doing fine. So once they get past the usual, how are you doing? Are your kids actually learning anything? Did the state check your lesson plan book this week? All those great questions. How are you going to handle teaching chemistry and algebra in 10 years when your child gets to high school? After that, the number one question always comes up is what about socialization? Everybody is so worried about your child's social life. And I find it hilarious because nobody is asking other parents about their children's social life. Just because you go to school doesn't mean that you have a social life. So I thought that I would come on here and answer some questions, dispel some myths, and give you some information so that when you're faced with these questions from family and friends, you can deal with it. First of all, everybody asks about socialization, but they don't completely understand what it is. And so this is why it is often difficult for us to answer it because we feel like we need to defend it and come up with a whole litany of, what we're doing to socialize our child and make them not be weird homeschoolers. But really, socialization has nothing to do with going to school. That's going to school. Socialization has to do with how you react in social situations, how you interact with people, how you can handle being with other people, work with other people, and just handle general life situations. That's really what it means to be able to be socialized, to be able to go out into the world and go to a store and speak to a clerk and get what you need, or have a job and work with coworkers, or go into the community and volunteer. And be able to relate to people. So that, first of all, let's start there. That's what socialization really means. That's what it means to be able to be socialized, to be able to function in the world. It has nothing to do with going to school or sitting at a desk or what grade you're in. Actually, if you think about it, and Andrew Pudewa brings this up often. I love Andrew Pudewa. But if you think about it, school is the only time that you are segregated by age, where you are in this room with people that are the exact same age as you, possibly the exact same level as you, and somehow that's supposed to teach you how to socialize in the world. Once you get out of school, you have to work with people of all ages, of all backgrounds, in all different capacities. I have friends that are twice my age and I have friends that are much younger than me. That doesn't change anything. It doesn't mean that we can't be friends. It doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with anybody who's in the relationship. That is part of living in the world, that you have friends who have different backgrounds, who have different strengths, who have different occupations, live in different places, came from different countries. So going to a school and being in a classroom where you are completely segregated by age, by area, by ability, is in no way going to prepare you to go out into the world and be socialized and be able to live in the world and do what you need to do. So I want to empower you with that information, because just sitting with 25 or 28 or even 15 other children all day long doesn't mean that you know how to socialize. There are still children who will go to school the whole time and struggle with being social, struggle with interacting with people, with relating to people. Now, if you are running your homeschool and at any point in time during the day, your children interact with another person, guess what? They are being socialized. So if the UPS man stops and they go out and say hello and get the package and say thank you. That was a social interaction. If the phone company calls and they answer the phone and can tell them, oh yeah, my mom will be there in a minute, that was a social interaction. If you have more than one child, they are having social interactions all day long. And if anything, it's a greater dynamic because now you have people at different levels, and you also have a little bit of the competitiveness of siblings, but they are working together, they're learning together, they're playing together. Those are all social interactions. Now, I know that most of us are out of the house probably more than we're home. That's usually one of the big jokes that, I homeschool, but I'm never home. So if you are going out and going shopping, you're going to co-op, you're going to dance lessons, you're going to soccer, all of those are social activities. Your child is experiencing the world, going to church, even if there's no other child their age. Guess what? They are socializing because they're getting to be with people that are out there and learning how to interact with them. And if anything, homeschool children are at an advantage with this because they aren't segregated into this little box of these are all second graders, or these are all 5-year-olds, or these are all people who can read on level 6. They are interacting with people of all ages and all walks of life. And I have found that homeschoolers are very good at getting into a group of mixed age and mixed ability and mixed gender and whatever else, and just putting together a game, putting together a pickup game of football, or sitting down and coming up with a craft for the girls to do together, or just putting together a Scrabble game. When we have homeschool groups meetups, we do book report club every quarter, and there are children there from the age of, well, infants, but as far as playing, like 2 years old, all the way up to 18 and 19. There's never anybody who, can't be a part of it because they aren't socialized. Even the only children who are being raised in a home that maybe isn't full of children all day long have a way of interacting with the other children, have a way of getting along and adapting. And we don't facilitate anything as the parents. We give them lunch and we send them outside or send them wherever they want to go, and they take it over. And if anything, that is an asset of homeschoolers because we don't have to have people overseeing them all day long. When they are in school, they're told exactly what to do at every minute of the day, and how they can play on the playground, what they can do. Whereas when my children are home, we have rules and regulations and we have a schedule, but when they have free playtime, it's free and they can just go and do what they want. And I have noticed that often with homeschool gatherings, that is what happens, that the moms sit down because we're finally with other moms that we can talk to, and we have tea, and the kids go and organize whatever they're going to organize, and it entertains them for hours. And it doesn't matter, like I said, if they decide to play soccer and they have 4 and 5-year-olds and then they have teenagers, they make it work. They learn how to relate to each other. They learn how to compensate for each other's skills and deficits, and it doesn't have to be a contrived thing. So all of those children that can go and only see each other every few months, or go and have children that they've never seen before and say, hey, let's go play a game, they are socialized and they are going to prosper in life because they know how to relate to other people. So if you get any of those questions, here's the thing. Not all homeschoolers are awkward and weird and unsocialized. In every area of life, there will be people that are awkward, there will be people that are shy, there will be people that are introverted. It's not a downfall of homeschooling. It can happen anywhere. So if you have a child that's extremely shy, it's not because you have them at home. I just want to say that. It's a personality thing. The second thing is that homeschoolers do have friends. They can make friends, and you don't need to sit next to somebody every day in a classroom to have friends. I think of all the people that I grew up with that I thought were my friends, and some of them I keep in touch with, but really, how many of them were really real friends that keep in touch with me on a truly personal basis, and that we really knew each other? We didn't know each other. We just saw each other all day long, and so we became friends because it was kind of you want to be social, and so you sit next to each other and you think that you're friends, but really it's just because you've been locked in this box for 8 hours a day. And the third thing is that unless you really have your child locked in a box, they are getting social interaction. They are growing, they are thriving, they are learning how to deal with their world. And that is the best socialization possible. Not 20 minutes on the blacktop, not sitting in a classroom all day long and learning to raise your hand. That isn't teaching socialization. So if you have any questions or comments, or if there's questions that you're worried are going to come up at your next family or friend gathering and you just want to have a little bit of backup, this way you know how to answer it, please just put in the comments or come on Wednesday and tell us about it. And I promise to get on here if Facebook lets me. I don't know what's been going on today, so I apologize that this is not a great time. It's probably dinner for most of you. But please just leave those on the page or in the comments so I can come back to you. And thank you so much for watching.